Sorry. Let's play this now before something gets destroyed. That's the reduced cost. Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to watch Hello Good Game. Trying something a little new today. I'm gonna try to slow it down and not be so gosh dang ADHD'd. Talking about Orzhov Party today. This is a really cool aggro deck that reached top Mythic rank number 36 already this November 2020 season by the one and only Smoke. And you know, I cannot explain how powerful this deck is and how poor of luck we had while playing it today. You guys are gonna die laughing. It's like we're playing into Chessmaster 5000. This is ridiculous stuff today. So don't take that to heart, as this is, again, I really focus on this, a top ranked Mythic deck, number 36 within the entire Magic the Gathering Arena community. So, you know, we'll take a look at the deck list as we always do. We'll break down each individual card, talk about the strengths and the weaknesses, right? Why it was chosen to be included in the deck. Next, we'll visit the overall strategy of the deck and, you know, some of the synergies included within it that will help you accomplish that strategy. Moving forward, we will watch and break down our gameplay footage, talking about all of the play lines and interactions that we encounter, having a good laugh along the way today. And finally, coming full circle with our closing thoughts, you know, talking about all of the community events, future plans for content, blah, 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 right? So if you do find any value within the video, I encourage you to give it a like, share it out to a friend, comment your thoughts below, obviously. I'll have a few call to actions asking for opinions on certain things throughout the video, so pay attention. And then, of course, hit that bell icon, because we do have a couple of really cool things going on, like our 500,000 gem giveaway. That's right, 500,000 gems, you guys. Woof. You know, there's more information on that within the Discord, as well as our free entry cash prize monthly tournaments for Brawl and Artisan, really focusing on the free-to-play and beginners to Magic the Gathering Arena. So it's a great community. Come hang out. Everything is going to be available within the Linktree link in the description below. We're playing today using Magic the Gathering Arena Assistant. This is one of the best trackers you can get for the game. It's going to improve you know, your skill set in so many different ways. Not only do you get metagame overviews, deck videos, and deck write-ups by some of the best creators and deck builders around, but you'll get your deck tracker, your collection tracker, and just like so many more things. I'm sure I could make an hour-long video of it. So that is available for free within the Overwolf link in the description below. Go ahead and give that a download. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So with all of that nonsense out of the way, you guys, let's take a look at Orzhov Party. This deck really relies on curving out. And what that means is using all of your available mana every turn. So on turn 1, you use your 1 mana, turn 2, you use both 2 mana, and on turn 3, and so on and so forth, right? So when we do look at our first 1-drop that we ideally want to play, I think, in my opinion, it's the Archpriest of Iona. Now, if you play first, this is always going to be your first drop if you can choose. If you play second and your opponent drops a red mana, you may want to hold off your Archpriest of Iona, as you'll probably be playing it into a shock, which is sad. And then that will allow you to play your Thieves Guild Enforcer, you know, on their end step. So they basically had that 1 red mana in play the whole turn, and they weren't able to utilize it on anything unless they shock you to the face, which is a poor use of that card. So, you know, that's my decision-making process on that. Speaking of the cards themselves, though, the Archpriest's power is equal to the number of creatures in your party. You know, its toughness is 2, so it's a little flimsy. They both die to Bone Crusher Giant. The Enforcer will die to Spikefield Hazard until it gets buffed up, and then, you know, it's basically the same as the Priest. So it's equal to the number of creatures in your party. This is great. So we can have up to 4 creatures in our party at a time. So, you know, it's a 4/2. That's absolutely amazing value for a 1-drop. And it goes even further than that with, at the beginning of combat on your turn, if you have a full party, again, 4 creatures, a rogue, a wizard, a cleric, and a warrior, it will get +1/+1 and flying until the end of turn. That makes the Archpriest of Iona a 5/3 with flying for 1. So you can see why we try to prioritize that away from the removal and keep it, you know, alive. Moving forth, we'll talk about the Thieves Guild Enforcer. You know, it's a 1/1 with flash, so it can be played on your opponent's end step, which is really nice. Whenever it or another rogue enters the battlefield under our control, our opponent will mill 2 cards. So be careful that your opponent doesn't have any graveyard recursion, because you could be helping light their fire by putting things in the graveyard that's what they want to accomplish anyways, right? But as long as your opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, Thieves Guild Enforcer gets +2/+1 and has Death Touch, creating a 3/2 creature with Death Touch, which is really good. You know, it can be played with flash to kill basically anything via the Death Touch, which is really nice. And you know, it's a good aggro creature to play right away that fills your party. The Archpriest of Iona is a cleric. The Thieves Guild Enforcer is a rogue. Moving on, we have a couple other 1-drops, like Fight as 1 at instant speed. Choose one or both. Target human and target non-human will both or either get +1/+1 and indestructible until end of turn. Obviously, you do have to have a human and a non-human to utilize both of them. If they're only humans, you'll only get one, but that shouldn't be a problem within the deck, because we do have vampires and beasts as well. It's not all humans here. We also have 2 copies of Village Rites at instant speed. As an additional cost to cast the spell, you do have to sacrifice a creature, so typically we will hold this up in our hand at instant speed until our opponent tries to interact with one of our creatures, whether it be a removal spell or you know, a bounce spell. Specifically, Bone Crusher Giant is really nice, and Petty Theft is really nice, because if you take the target away, the spell will fizzle and go directly into their grave, and they will not be able to cast the adventure side of it. And when we do this, we get to draw 2 cards, which is pretty cool, because we're going to be losing that creature that they're dealing with anyways, most likely. So why not draw from it? Into our 2-drops, we've got 4 copies of the Stonework Packbeast. You know, at first glance, this is relatively underwhelming. It's a cleric, rogue, warrior, and wizard. Fills the void for whichever you don't have. We can pay 2 to add 1 mana of any color. Kind of awkward there as well. And it's a 2/1 for 2. So the stats here are very underwhelming. What's really nice about this card is that it fills the void for a relatively cheap cost, right? It does only cost 2, and it can be all of those different types, which is quite nice. We're not running green in the deck. It is an Orzhov deck, so there's no Paragon. That's a little bit better version of this, but again, the Packbeast can fit in any deck and does just a good of job, in my opinion. 4 copies of Dire Tactics. Now, this is one of the in-house removal spells at instant speed. Exile target creature. If you don't control a human, you lose life equal to that creature's toughness, which is a bummer, but if you don't control a creature, you'll probably be taking that damage from their attack anyways, so, you know, that's actually not that bad in hindsight. What's really great here is that it's instant speed, and, you know, the majority of our deck does consist of humans, so we won't have to pay that cost often. One of our non-humans in the deck is Nullpriest of Oblivion. This is a 2/1 with Menace and Lifelink. We can pay 4 to kick it, as a total of 6. When it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. You know, that's great. Typically, things will return it to your hand, but when you get to bounce it directly into the battlefield, that's going to be really, really good. We have 4 copies of Drannith Magistrate. This is a wizard. The Oblivion is a cleric with Menace and the Lifelink, I should add, so a little bit of sustainability there, and you can get some potential damage around the edges if they don't have the correct blockers. The Magistrate is a wizard, like I said. It's a human, again, for tactics. A 1/3, so a little bit of a nice defender here, and your opponent can't cast spells anywhere other than their hands. We still see adventure everywhere. People are playing adventure, even though Lucky Clover's been banned. Edgewall Innkeeper is around, and people are playing every different flavor of it that you can possibly think of. The Drannith Magistrate is great because, you know, if they do cast the adventure side of it, they won't be able to play the creature from exile, which is really good due to the opponents can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hand's effect. Moving on, we have 1 copy of Lurrus of the Dream Den. This is a 3/2 with lifelink. During each of your turns, you may cast a permanent spell with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard. Now, there's 1 copy of here, and typically I find that when you run a deck with a single copy of a card, you pull that card more frequently than not. I don't know about that. Let me know in the comments below if you guys kind of find that pattern as well, that if you play a deck with a 1 of, that, you know, that 1 of shows up a lot. In my opinion, let me know in the comments below. So Lurrus is great here because most of our deck is converted mana cost 2 or less. You know, the Archpriest, the Enforcer, the Magistrate, Oblivion, the Packbeast. So most of our party is obviously quite cheap, but Lurrus can help us replay those cards. Speaking of replaying those cards, we have Agadeem's Awakening for 3 plus X. We like to cast it for probably 5, obviously pulling all of our 2 and less from the grave. If we cast it for 6, we can pull our Lurrus, which is really cool. It is sorcerer speed, and return from your graveyard or to the battlefield any number of target creature cards that each have a different converted mana cost of X or less. This is great, right? So you can grab a 1-drop and you can grab a 2-drop and potentially even grab a 3-drop there as well within your Lurrus, and then Lurrus can start grabbing those other things from the grave. So, you know, it's just that really good mid-game replayability. So if you're not able to aggro them out, they get the wipe on you. Boom, here's all my permanents again, let's go. What we want to do once we get our party in play, I should talk about Tazri, Beacon of Unity first. This is a 5-drop, but it does cost 1 less to cast for each creature in our party. And when we are curving out, like I mentioned, with, you know, turn 1 we get something in, turn 2 we get something in, and then turn 3 we get something else in, that should allow us to drop our Tazri on turn 4. You know, maybe earlier, probably not. Turn 4, easy peasy lemon squeezy. This is a warrior within the deck, and I think one of our only warriors, you know, obviously other than the Packbeast. So I like to drop Tazri first. It's a great defender, a 4/6. We can pay, you know, a different association of mana, as little as 4, as many as 8, to look at the top 6 cards of your library, revealing up to 2 cleric, rogue, warrior, wizard, and or allies from among them, putting them into your hand, and the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. So we talked about how the Nullpriest playing things from the grave directly into the battlefield is so good. The Beacon of Unity is not really that great, at least with the ability to grab things from your deck, putting them into your hand. Yes, if you can, you've got no mana, you can do this on their end step, that's great. If not, I wouldn't try to focus on getting that to pop. Where this really shines is the cost in reduction, and we can get it out early. It's a decent blocker and attacker, and then we can use our squad commander on top of it, a 3/3, and when it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white core warrior creature token for each creature in your party. So we can create 4 of those tokens, which is pretty nice. And then at the beginning of combat on your turn, if you have a full party, creatures you control gain +1/+0 and gain indestructible until end of turn, which is so good. That will allow you to attack and not have to worry about their blockers. We've got a couple other key components within the deck that focus around party, like Journey to Oblivion, an enchantment for 5. Similar to Tazri, it does cost 1 less to cast for each creature in our party, and whenever Journey of Oblivion enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until Journey leaves the battlefield. You know, typically this isn't great because they get their permanent back once it's dealt with, and you should just be using Elspeth Conquers Death, which doesn't give them their permanent back and has other effects, but the cost in reduction is really nice and can 100% save you. You know, 1 less to cast for each creature in your party. We can have 4 creatures in our party. Exile target non-land permanent for 1 is actually really, really good when you think about it. So there's a little bit extra in here within Ymira's Call. We get to create 2 4/4 white angel creatures with flying. Non-angels we control will have indestructible until our next turn. So we can defend with indestructible, which is really cool. You know, we can also get that attack in if we so choose. And, you know, on the opposing side of this, of course, we can pay 3 life to have the land come in untapped, adding a plains. If not, it does come in tapped, similar to the Awakening, adding a swamp. We've got some land in the deck as well. It's not just the rare or mythic MDFCs. We've got 4 Indatha Triomes, cycling for 3, that's not that bad. 2 Sabai Triomes, again, cycling for 3 in case things come into the late game. 4 Bright Climb and Grim Climb pathways, 3 Swamps, and 5 Plains. Of course, we're playing traditional today, which means best of 3, trying to teach you guys how to make the jump from best of 1, which is like a lottery, into best of 3, which is, in my opinion, more skill-based. You know, that's up to debate, though. Don't tell CGB I said that. We've got 2 copies of Duress at sorcery speed for 1. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-creature, non-land card from it. That player discards that card. You know, if they've got those early game interactions that you cannot stand, that are messing with you, you know, get at it with a Duress. the field wipes, extinction events, stuff like this. You know, maybe it doesn't have to be an early game interaction that you want to deal with, but you could get in a little bit later. For example, we can all see how much mana our opponent has. We know Genesis Ultimatum hits on turn 7, or once there's 7 mana accumulated. So we can duress into their hand, you know, right before that point to get their payoff spell, which is pretty cool. So if you know what the deck is, you can wait and do it right before, and then the further the turns go on, the more chance they have to draw that card from their library into their hand while still not being able to play it yet because of the mana cost. Or if you don't know what's going on, or it's a early game spell, you can just get in there right away. Speaking of getting into their hand, Acquisitions Expert. This is a rogue, so filling a party role within the deck. It's a 1/2, and when it enters the battlefield, target opponent reveals the number of cards from their hand equal to the number of creatures in your party, and then you get to choose one of those cards and have them discard it. So, you know, again, we could potentially be looking at 4 cards from their hand and discarding one of them, and as little as 1 as it will enter as a rogue itself, obviously. When we go against removal decks or control decks, we have Skyclave Shade for 2, a 3/1, kicker for 3, so total for 5. It can't block, and it has landfall, so whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, if it's in your graveyard this turn, you actually get to cast it from your graveyard, which is cool. And then whenever it's kicked, it will enter with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. 2 +1/+1 counters on it. My golly. 2 copies of Maul of the Skyclave for 3. When it enters the battlefield, auto-equip it to a creature you control. Equipped creature gets +2/+2, has flying and first strike, so that's actually quite nice. And then, you know, that creature can get removed. The Skyclave, because its equipment will remain in play, and you can re-equip it to a different creature at sorcery speed for 4. A single copy of Baneslayer Angel, a 5/5 with flying, first strike, and lifelink, so pretty nice there. Sorry, mono red deck. Protection from dragons and protection from demons. A single copy of Elspeth Conquers Death, a more reliable version of our Journey to Oblivion in case our opponent has, you know, something like a Gem Razor to destroy an artifact or enchantment, and then instead of giving them their permanent back, they'll just not get it back, right? Again, we get to, when it enters the battlefield, exile target permanent and opponent controls with converted mana cost 3 or greater. Remember that. Non-creature spells your opponent casts cost 2 more to cast until your next turn. And then finally, return target creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Put a +1/+1 or loyalty counter on it. There's no planeswalkers within the deck, so it's obviously going to be a +1/+1. Journey to Oblivion. We have 2 additional copies of this. We already talked about that. And an additional Tazri Beacon of Unity. Already talking about that. So, you know, that's the deck list. That's the sideboard. Those are my general thoughts on it. We do break down our sideboard decisions more in depth as we do live within our gameplay footage, so you'll have to pay attention to that. Thank you again for your time and attention. I hope you guys enjoyed this deck breakdown. And again, your general strategy here is to curve out playing either Tazri on turn 4 or your squad commander on turn 4, while balancing their blockers with your removal via Journey to Oblivion, Dire Tactics, and staying alive with stuff like Fight as One and interrupting removal with Village Rites. I could go on and break down these decks for hours, but you guys get the general hang of it. You'll figure it out once you play a few matches. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share the channel out to a friend, hit that bell icon so you're notified of all of our future uploads. I do urge you to join the Discord so you can familiarize yourself with our 500,000 gem giveaway. I'm going to be doing a new giveaway every 10,000 subs as well, so there's going to be a lot of goodies to get your little hands on. You know, we've got free cash prize tournaments as well that I already mentioned, so get in on that. We're using the Assistant. Download that within the Overwolf link in the description below. If you want to support the channel financially, I really appreciate that as well. You can do so on Twitch, Patreon, YouTube, and even by purchasing things through our Amazon link. If you want to reach out, ask me how to do so, and I'm sure I'll help you. All right, guys, don't forget to watch to the end of the video so you don't miss out on some once-in-a-lifetime news. Thanks a lot. Take care. We'll see you soon. So there's no 1-drop. There's no real 2-drop. There's a 4-drop. We can't keep it. We can keep 6. We toss the call. We play real slow. We can draw probably with our Village Rites. So we'll do our best, and from as far as I can tell, this deck is really about hitting that turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, turn 4. Thieves Guild Enforcer, Drannith Magistrate. You also have the Archpriest of Iona, which is a good drop. for us as well. Let's play that. We can hold up Village Rites. If we don't use it, we do play our Enforcer. So, you know, hit that turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, turn 4. I believe our turn 4 will be the squad commander always, and Tazri is actually our turn 3. Because we're reducing it by 2. It's a 5-drop, right? 5 minus 2 is 3. Look at me go. And we are ending our turn, and again, like I said, flashing our Enforcer in, and if we don't, we'll just Village Rites this. Taking the draw. Sucks, right? That was on our turn, but whatever. We only have one source of black, which is pretty sad here. Playing into a counter spell, I assume. Or just more removal. Meh, right? It's gonna be hard. Dire Tactics is a dead card. Yeah. It's that counter that we were thinking of. So, now that that's out of the way, we can continue. Four land in play, like, it's just not good. Trying to have them tap their mana on their turn. That'll open us up without the fear of counter spells, but yeah, okay. So we do tap their mana, and again, another dead card, so we'll be sideboarding our Dire Tactics so far out of dodge, it's not even funny. 2 dead cards that hold almost no value here as far as we can tell. We could get Crawling Barrens at instant speed. That might be a thing, right? If they ever put it on the battlefield, we can take it. So there is some value there, but not much. Doesn't feel good. Packbeast can enter. We will attack. Counts as a rogue here, which is really nice. And then once it's been a rogue, it can be the others. Let's try to pull that Barrens out. Oops, like we forgot about it. Not only do we get the creature, but we take one of their lands out. That feels good for me. So we make use of Dire Tactics, believe it or not. I thought it was a dead card. I still think we'll sideboard it out. But what if the Barrens is their only win con? No, they definitely have Sharks. We'll never get to the Awakening off of 1 swamp. So this can just come on in. I guess, you know, we could do a convert down, but that doesn't help us either. And we could try to pull a creature here again. Our Triome's untapped, so Dire Tactics is open. Shark gets hit. When I first seen Dire Tactics, was like, well, that's an amazing card. Exile target creature for 2 at instant speed. That's amazing. I'm surprised we've not seen it within more decks. It is at home here, though, within Orzhov Party, which consists of mostly lands. Am I right? So many lands. I guess we should have kept the Undercrypt. Right? That would have been a nice drop. I was like, we'll never get there, and look at us go. We're 1 land away. Okay, I mean, pulling our worst card. Down to 13. We're so outpaced here. We're not going fast enough. It's very bad to go this slow. Maybe Dire Tactics is at home. There could be a counterspell. It would be awesome if there was. Nope. I think there is, but they didn't use it, is the thing. We can kick this. One creature card. There's nothing good to pull. Tazri, why aren't you in the graveyard? A squad commander would be alright as well. We have even. This is even. We need a 1-drop. Let's pull our Archpriest of Iona. There are 40 cards. The mill, it's not going to happen. Right, at least then it dodges an extinction event. It's not much, but it's something. You know, we should have taken all of those with our Undercrypt. Oof, don't undervalue that. It's really important. Did they just cling our dire tactics? That's okay, I guess, right? We do have a little bit more damage on the board here, hitting for 5 a turn is much friendlier. They have 3 cards. They can cling again. They took 1 tactics, I assume they'll take the rest. Right? Yep. Auto tapping, or sorry, manually tapping their land. Oh, backing out of it. So they're looking at something else, that means. Well, that's not bad. I do appreciate a little indestructible, baby. This is a decent hit. Well, indestructible does not protect against a bounce. And a good day to use. We can replay it. I doubt there's a counter. We just missed out on a little bit of damage. It's okay, we're at 22, they're at 10. I don't think the borrower will outpace us as we do 5. Right? We have protection from their next removal. Unless it's an exile, which is so sad. Don't do it. Don't do it. They're gonna do it. Right now. They're gonna do it. They're gonna do it so hard. The plot thickens. Down to 5. We do hold lethal. We can pull that land. We'll still hold up fight as 1. Just try to finish it up the old-fashioned way. Sorry. Let's play this now before something gets destroyed. That is the reduced cost. Okay, Dimir control. Dimir control is so annoying. I think the shade is pretty decent for the replayability of it. Right? I think that's quite nice. The shade is just a shade. It does not fill our party mechanic at all. Getting into their hand might be alright. Shark Typhoon's annoying. Lots of counters and removal, so anything we can replay is going to be nice. Which isn't a ton. This is a rogue. The enforcers actually are not that bad there. Lurrus stays. I do like Journey if we can go wide, but I don't know if we'll be able to. Let's take 2 to rest. I'll toss the tactics. And 40 seconds left. I think we take the acquisition experts and we drop. Oh, that's so hard. Right, we drop the Packbeast. It'll be okay. We don't want to take the 1-drops out, right? We want to set the pace. We want to be quick. They're expecting dire tactics to kind of be not good. And I really want to rely on the shade. This Shadow Verdict is good for them. Let's get right into that hand while they're tapped. Take a counterspell or something, so Tazri can hopefully hit. Again, they get to pick what they show us. Ooh, and we get to take a neutralize. That's kind of what we would have gone for. And we get an extinction event to the grave. Also a serpent. Which is not good. This has to be from the graveyard, so target opponent's graveyard. So until we have 5 cards in our grave, we'll be okay. This is going to be risky. We'll play our Triome, stick the shade in. Tazri hits next turn. I think, right? Of course you would. The Blood Chief is so thirsty always. Settle down, girl. The Shade has nice replayability from the removal. We also have our Awakening, which I'm gonna try to hold on to this time. Hey, let's take our single point of damage, why not? Brick by brick. Just hustling. At least we won that first match. Right? When you lose that first match against a control deck, it's so hard. Right? Typically you win the first match against a control, and then after it gets much more difficult, as they know exactly what's going on out of the gate. Oh, I thought that would be an exile. That's not the worst. Right? So it's like they spent removal and we just basically didn't lose anything. They will take our Awakening though. Just so sad. And they take Tazri. Sploosh, baby. Ooh. We should have attacked before we dropped the land in case they destroy instant speed. They don't. Down to 14. We do have 3 in the grave, but they exile our graveyard. So the Elspeth's Nightmare has poor synergy with the Lockmire Serpent, as now they're unable to play it from the grave for, you know, however many more turns. We've got land though, so that's so sad. And no grave to kick this with. Let's take our attack. Try to pull the removal. Let's just get after it. There's nothing to bring back. Why hold it? Well, a counterspell. Keeping lands to replay our Shade continuously into the mid and late games here. Oh no. Hopefully they only top deck land for the next 6 turns. 5 turns. They have a Castle Vantress as well. Oh my god, sploosh. What do we draw? Another land? Of course we do. Nice. You know, we can't allow that Shark Typhoon just to hang out. We have to punish them for playing it. They take our graveyard though, so we'll just journey it. So annoying that they take our graveyard. Basically makes Lurrus useless too. It's annoying and I hate it. Stupid Shark Typhoon and then dealing with our graveyard. We get to play first. We don't need to do it on turn 1. What we need to do on turn 1 is play a creature. The duress is great, but let's just try to use our expert. Playing first here. Are you serious? I mean, it works, but goodness gracious, at what cost? Hank 6 life right out of the gate. I don't know, man. I don't know. This is gonna be weird. Hopefully we pick up a land. We don't. Six life in, baby. That's it for 2. We get this expert in. We're gonna be looking at 3 cards. You dog. Still hit for 3. I really wanted in their hand there. The rogue will push up the cleric to 3, so it's a little bit of value if we play it right now. Stop it. This is not instant speed, so we'll fold to the field and hopefully no extinction event. Well, this could be bad. We're out of cards. Play a permanent, please. They're a little bit out from Shark Typhoon. Midnight Clock. I don't think we should grab that. We want to grab the Shark Typhoon. Right? So much land on our behalf. We should have sideboarded out land. If they cycle the Shark, it doesn't create anything. It just cycles because it costs 2. They cycle the Neutralize. Interesting. They're down to 8. I would love a Shark Typhoon to hit here. That whooped us last game, right? Non-land permanent, kind of a bummer. Oh, just straight up removal. That's also kind of a bummer. Graveyard's got 3 creatures. Four, 5, 6. Oh, we're sitting on 5. Crawling Baron comes out as a 2/2. Still get 1 damage in. Plus we can exile it while it's still in play once it blocks on our second main phase. Uh-oh! Didn't expect that. It's okay. No harm, no foul. We need that 6 land to kick this. Right after we pull our journey, they play the Typhoon, which is what we were holding it for. Yes! Thank you! Welcome! This is a cleric, this is a wizard. Woo! Woo! Alright, we need a couple more good top decks to save us. What are they playing? And what can we use? Oh, they're tapping their mana so quickly! Don't tap it that quickly! Don't you dare! Okay, and eliminate could be worse. They still hold up 4 mana. No, they don't. Oh, man. Right. So close, yet so far away, right? We should have kept the planes in hand, keep the Baron at bay, I guess. It's okay, we have 14 life. That clock is going to draw them so many cards. Deep breaths. We have a 4.44% chance to draw Agadeem's Awakening and go absolutely crazy from our grave. That sucks. Oh my god. Midnight Clock. Why do you do this to us? There is nothing we can do. Oh my gosh. Probably just straight up counterspell. Why even let it hit the field? Right? Yeah. Oh no. You're tapped. We only get to see 1 card, so it's not really great, but 1 is better than none. Probably a land. No, they're thinking about it too hard. It's not a land. More removal, of course it is. You dirty dog. Well, we tried our best. We went the distance, you know, demonstrating the raw power of Orzhov party. Running into a little bit of trouble with control, but, you know, as the meta begins to settle, I think control will become more and more powerful. That was a weird play of mana. 5 mana for a 2/2. They're upset it didn't kill the Oblivions, I guess. They cost 5, and they're not creatures. Oh, it's 2 games in a row that we've just... well, not in a row, I guess. The first game is a little bit different. Second game we did alright. But now, again, we're on that land train, and I do not appreciate it. Right, we have no tome in play for the draw. It's a sad time. Oh, yeah. Just good stuff. 1 Ashiok, make 2 3s, put things in exile. Are you serious? Give me another land, I dare you. Ask and ye shall receive. Woof. We absolutely cannot keep this 2 4-drops. That's not a mana curve. What world? I mean, this works. We got some 1-drops, but... Okay, keeping 5. Tazri is our turn 1. I mean, these can be turn 1 and turn 2, I guess. The Packbeast is nice to keep. Let's toss the Triome. Oh, we have to throw 2 cards here. That's gross. I guess we should toss the Packbeast. These have a much higher impact. Alright. Don't worry, it's just another control deck. A 60-card Yorion deck. That should be fine. What do we see here? Nothing. We can attack because we have Dire Tactics up if there's Flash Blocker. If there's not, we'll flash on our Enforcer. We will top deck a land and play Tazri. A land and the call. Here is our land. There's gotta be a counterspell there. Let's attack. Nothing. Going for it. It hits. Woo-hoo-hoo. Soul and Simulacrum, that's okay. We have a Tactics. Exile, they don't get the draw, they did ramp. And we don't pull the land. We're doing it to open up our attacking lanes here. They are at 2. We'll take them to... each opponent mills 2 cards. They'll mill 4. They'll go to 6. That's not 8. So we still want to keep it in our hand. Just take the damage. We really wanted to top deck a land, and then we could have played our commander, but killing the Simulacrum is not the worst thing, I don't think, so... Shut down their draw, and hopefully no wipe. Okay, it is gonna take out our Tazri. That's their turn, though, and they've got no creatures to bring back yet. Decent mill. Hopefully we can pull a rogue, and then we can mill more and push the attackers up. No. But what we do get is a warrior. We'll push our Archpriest up, plus it makes 3 1/1s. So they 100% need to wipe us next turn. Down to 3. Single target removal will not do. Here's the Shatter. Omen of the Sea. Into a Scry 2, draw a card. Shatter. Unfortunately, I don't think that an extinction event would do it for them there. So we take in the first game against Azorius Control quite easily. How are we going to deal with all this? I'm going to drop the Packbeast, take the experts trying to get into their hand. I'll also take Duress in exchange for Village Rites. They did have black, so I guess there is removal there we should be aware of. And how important is this dire tactics? Probably not that important. We should probably take our Shade instead for the replayability of it. Right? That way if anything removes it, the removal goes to the graveyard and our Shade can come back from the graveyard with the landfall trigger. You know, that's a reoccurring theme against control decks is graveyard recursion. The replayability of spells against counter spell decks or removal decks, right? Because when they remove it, it's the same as when they counter it. You know, their card goes to the grave, whether it's an Essence Scatter or a Heartless Act, right? Both removal and counter both go to the grave, and our creature still goes to the grave, so nothing changes there, other than there might be an ETB effect on the creature with the Shade. And you know, typically with creatures that you replay from the grave, like the Shade, they don't have an ETB effect. I guess another good example in another color is the Hallowblade, Seasoned Hallowblade. This is, you know, not really recursion, but it does have a similar effect where it's a 3/1 that's, you know, resistant to removal. Our opponent goes first. We're going to keep the second Awakening. Ooh. Paying life, your go. Thief in play. Are we gonna get... Yeah, we will get in trouble. Let's... should we just play black and work, like, lean heavy into it? No. Played smart. Let's take a look at the hand. They're both rogues, so we only look for one. But we also mill, because it's a rogue, which is quite nice. You could potentially pull a mill deck if it suits you, and run the Packbeast on top of the Enforcer as well. It's not a lot, you know, it's definitely not a Soaring Thought Thief, but it could get you there a little bit. They don't want to show us a land. This is a hard decision for them to make. These other ones are not going to get easier, that means. Okay, there's some draw, that's fine. We mill 2. They're using Dance, so we don't want to mill too hard. Doom Foretold, Dance of the Manse. Okay, we'll keep this in mind. Here's an Omen on our end step. We would like to keep both of these in hand, but we'll have to play one as a land, I think. Back in for another card, please. Still, we only look at one, but we do get the mill again, which is... Oh, Ondu's Inversion. This is my deck. Okay, we're in trouble. They have Shatters. They have Thirst to discard their enchantments and artifacts. Oh no. As long as they don't get the black source in for Doom, and they can't get to Dance. They discard Doom. They can't find their black source, that means. What's right there? I bet they are kicking themselves for discarding that. Unless they just want to dance it out later. They do. They definitely do. I'm gonna get this cleric in play, and then we'll use our expert on top of it, and we get to look at 2 whole cards this time instead. Right, instead of just 1 at a time. And you can see the acquisition experts making quick work of their hand, at the very least making it awkward for them. Oh, an extinction event off the top. I don't mind that. We just go for it? Giving them the draws, whatever, but we need to clean the field so the rest of the guys can attack next turn. As long as there's no wipe. Oh, they're dancing. Sploosh. Okay, they definitely got there and Doom's out as well. This game's over. We bricked on land so hard. Doom, Doom, Doom. We don't really want to mill them at all. I mean, Forcer can come out. I think Journey to Oblivion can come in. They have so much removal. We want to be really careful with that. Let's pull in some Packbeasts to fill the void. And then hopefully we can hit Tazri on pace, right? That worked out perfectly for them. The Solemn Simulacrums really help that deck out, and it's important to exile them. And we are getting just stuffed with these trash hands. Honestly, it's like one extreme to the other. I guess we'll pretend we're mono black. That's absolutely the worst luck you can have. That's okay though. Playing mono black. Lego. The shade is, I guess, semi-nice. We can replay it. Watch them exile it immediately. The birth, okay. They can just get a blocker in, that's nice. Hit for 3. The Nightmare eats the beast. That's brutal. Take a look at their hand. Just taking a land, I assume. Our Triome comes in tapped. No attacks. We can't defend either, so just whatever. We lose our expert. Oh no, it's yeah, we do lose it. Oh no, non-creature. Never mind. Prophecy is actually something you typically don't see played with, so that's awkward. Scry 2, then they get to choose a card name, and then whenever you cast that card, they get to draw 2 cards. It's a really nice draw engine, but that's easily removed. How is there not removal in their hand is the thing? 1 damage and down to 18. There's an Omen, not good. So they have to choose what they're playing next turn, which it actually kind of gives us some insight. So Solemn Simulate, great. It's awesome. Now if only they had a bunch less cards in hand, we could get in there. Send the Rogue, because it replaces itself. We get to look at 2 out of 3. It's not bad, it's not good though. We take Solemn Simulacrum because that's their draw engine. Land comes in tapped, why not? Let's keep pushing up. And here we get to hit for 3. We will lose our Tazri. And then we have to sack with Doom. So they might take out, okay. They're banking on, you know, drawing a Simulacrum again, I guess. They do? What? Or they just had 2 in their hand, they didn't show us 1. We're getting walked on today. You know, it's a great deck, it performs really well. You've seen how easy it was for us to win that second match, but due to some really poor draw hands, we're having really a hard time connecting the dots here. The Shade can go. I mean, the Exile exists, which isn't the worst. No attacks. They sack the Prophecy. And we sack our Expert. That's a bad time to use Extinction Event, but sure. Now it just fizzles. They get the draw. That 2/2 is really important to them, I guess, and we could have held on to that, but 2 life is 2 life. Just take it, whatever. We're top decking. They've got 2 in hand. Ugh, and a Prophecy. Gross. Let's just pull all lands like the last couple of games, right? Archon of Sun's Grace ends it 100%. And we're talking about the Curse of Lands, and here it is. We get our Skyclave back, but it's definitely not enough. There's no way they make that mistake of blocking this. Right? They're just going to cast enchantments, make Pegasi, and dominate. Not to mention they do 3 damage per turn, plus gaining 3 life, and we can only deal 5. So it's like we deal 2 damage and they deal 3, and that's a negative equation that will not work out for us. Plains, plains, plains. 6 land. Interesting. If we can top deck our next land for 7, that will be fun. Oh, Omens, man. They get the draw. Do 2 Pegasi like we're talking about. Pretty gross stuff. We're playing it out though, right? Showing you guys. Oh, well, that actually does suck. Another Doom, baby. So we lose. And that's not the right land. Luckily, it can come right back into play. And we can resack it. So the Skyclave is a nice play against Doom Foretold, but you know, it's not enough. Archon is dominating, right? I assume they just sack an Omen, right? They could sack the Prophecy as well and not look at our library. A second Doom Foretold. You dirty dog. Alright, they hit for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Almost lethal, and we're gonna pop our call off. They think that we don't know. We know. We know. We take 2 damage here from the Doom Foretold. Ugh. Playing first. We're gonna get the win here. I can feel it. You know, it's a really awkward hand, but that's fine. Trying to save these awakenings for later. Casting them for 6. Into play with our Drannith Magistrate. Hopefully we see something to remove here. We do not. Let's take the hit. Pull out a chump blocker. You don't get one. Let's end turn. Cycling for 2. Negate to the grave. More counter magic. Lovely. Let's hit in. Let's send Lurrus to the grave. We'll pull it back later. We need the black sources to even cast it, so we should put one of them in, and then we're just relying on one more black source. Which one do we lose? Let's try to pull something first. We can use our dire tactics. Alright, here's a counterspell, I'm sure. I don't see this. Yeah. I was gonna say, no one would ever let that touch play. Our opponent's turn. Drawing 3, discarding. Temple of Deceit, that's fine. Pulling land, we do need that other swamp still at some point. They're totally tapped, so we can go in with our squad commander, take 2 1/1s, and hit for 1. We're sitting on 5 lands. Oh, the event exiles. That sucks for our awakening. And they get everyone. They know how bad that hurt me. Ah! We're gonna make them work for it. Screw these Dimir control decks, man. And this just goes to show you that it doesn't matter, you know, the games I win or the games I lose. This is a top-ranked Mythic deck, you know, top 50, 34 in fact. And, you know, that's no joke. People are dominating with this deck. It's just a couple bad matchups today. It is what it is. That's tasty. That's how it goes. You have to keep your head up, right? The exile really annoys us because we rely so much on playing things from the grave. Let's play into another counterspell before we concede. Yeah, baby. Rock and roll. Very, very good. And moving on, you know, the exile that they have is disgusting. But we still have to run it. So the shade comes in. Journey works good, except they're removing everything. It's just so sad. The exiles really hurt. Oh well, it is what it is. We try our best every day, and if we win, we win. If we don't, you know, we had a fun time with it at the very least. Sure, you guys can appreciate that, where there's days you win, and then days where, you know, you can't connect the dots. A lot of the comments in some of the YouTube videos, if I do well in the deck and I kind of boast about it, people are like, I lost 5 matches in a row with this deck, more like 100% loss rate. It's like, well, I mean, these are how things go. Like, this is the way of Magic, right? It's never gonna be that consistent. And yeah, that's my rant. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share the channel to a friend, and of course hit that bell icon so you're notified of all of our future uploads. We're talking about 500,000 gem giveaways, free cash prize monthly tournaments, daily uploads. We're talking 2 a day, so we're busy. Playing first here. I like it. We're playing at least on curve for once. That's been the hardest thing for us to connect with here, is actually curving out into 3 and 4. They sub more removal in, which is disgusting. Second towards our black get around. Let's attack here first, and we might dire tactics. Nothing, so we magistrate. And then we hold up a Village Rites on whatever they remove. Our turn. Land sucks. Let's take the hit. Play the land. And the turn, we hold up both dire tactics now and a Village Rites. So as long as we can get around the wipes. Our turn. That's interesting. Let's take the attack, hold up our dire tactics and Village Rites. Playing our phases correctly. We can't afford not to. Then the commander can go into a counter. It doesn't. This is even. Tokens are even. And the magistrates are even, so we'll lose everything but the enforcer. And that's the saddest story ever told. I will hold a candlelight vigil for you all. I'm so sorry. This is what I'm talking about. Rest in peace. If you believe, if you just believe. Wow. How's that for a win rate for you guys today, right? Is that on me, or is that just some bad old luck? Let me know in the comments below. All right, you guys, thanks again for your time and attention. I really appreciate it, each and every one of you. May you have a magical day. And you know, we're back twice a day on YouTube. We're on Twitch in between. We got the Discord banging throughout the day. So whatever time it is for you, I'm around. Come hang out. Really appreciate it. Don't forget about our cash prize brawl and artisan tournaments every month. You know, we've got the giveaway. Download Magic the Gathering Arena Assistant via the Overwolf link in the description below to improve your not only your play style but your skill set as well, right? And yeah, with that being said, I do hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share to a friend, hit that bell icon like always. I don't know how many times you guys can hit that bell. It's just ringing all day long. Barely getting any sleep. Anyways, go have yourselves a great day. If you want to support financially, you can do so on Twitch, Patreon, YouTube, or Amazon link. Thanks so much. Go enjoy another video, and we'll see you in a few minutes.